Hi everyone, Brian here. Today I wanted to talk about Carrie by Stephen King. This is the first book that Stephen King published. However, it's not the first book that I've read by Stephen King. I've read about 6 to 8 of his other books, and I came into reading Carrie with kind of low expectations. For some reason, I thought just because this is the first book that Stephen King published, that it would somehow be of lesser quality than his books that he wrote later in his life during maybe his prime or once he got his foot as a professional writer. But no, this is a fantastic book. You can really see the early elements of Stephen King in his writing if you're familiar with his books. He has a very unique style of writing and character development and action scenes and all that. And this book definitely shows that early development of it, and he already had it from the get go. This book, as I mentioned, was definitely very good. I started reading this a few days ago, and I got hooked as soon as I started it, and I flew through it. So I really enjoyed this book. It really exceeded my expectations, and I kind of want to get into the spoiler side of things. So if you're not familiar with the book, maybe click off and come back later on once you finished it. But I was talking to my wife earlier this morning, just before I was finishing this book, about some of the sequences at the end, or I was just giving her a brief overview of the book itself, about Carrie, who she is, what she's kind of gone through, and what's leading up to the moment of the prom night. And my wife's initial reaction to hearing about all the, the chaos and destruction that Carrie is uh, causing to the town of Chamberlain was just she was absolutely horrified that wow, this is horrifying. Those poor town people, all those people that are getting killed and burned and electrocuted and so on, poor them. But my reaction to her was, yes, poor them. This is a horrible thing to do, but also poor Carrie. She's gone through 17 years of abuse and trauma through her mother, of her fanatical religious um, uh, day-to-day life and beliefs and and punishments. And then also you have Carrie growing up through the public school system and essentially being an outcast from the way she has been raised by her mother, becoming the victim of a lot of bullying and taunts. And there's a lot of trauma there from all her peers. So she's very much an outcast. And leading up to prom night, um, she's a complete victim. And the dropping of the pig's blood on her when she is crowned prom queen is just the cherry on top. It just pushes her over the edge. She loses it. And if this was a real scenario, she would have just gone home, cried, and really um, experienced a lot of trauma from that night. But her being in this novel and the fictional world, and she has this telekinetic ability, she's able to lash out in the anger and frustration that's accumulated throughout the years from her mother and from her peers in school. And she's able to she wants revenge. She wants to incite trauma on them, and that's what she does. Maybe not necessarily an intent to kill, except for her mother, she tends to kill, but she tends to traumatize these students and ends up killing a lot of people in the town, over 400 people. And it's a fascinating kind of philosophical debate you can have. It's who do you feel more sorry for? And I don't think it's a binary situation. I don't think you can feel sorry only for Carrie or feel sorry only for the townspeople. There's no good guy here. Everyone's in the wrong. Everyone's in the wrong, and everyone's a victim essentially. And that moral gray philosophy, I think, is just kind of interesting. And yeah, I just found this book very interesting to think about afterwards after reading it. Kind of like the trolley problem, if you think about it. If um, here Stephen King was like, the traditional trolley problem is like, you have 100 people on one side that are getting hit by a train, or you can flip the train to go hit on the other side, but it's your loved one. What do you choose? Stephen King has just decided that everyone dies. and I thought that was kind of fascinating take on that. So I don't know if that's what he was going for, but that's just kind of that was kind of from my discussion with my wife about this, and that's where we're thinking, and I think it's a nice way of framing it. It's just yeah, everything sucks, um, and yeah, just trauma can be a powerful force. So yeah, I think that's everything I want to share about Carrie. This was a very good book. I definitely recommend it for everyone. Check it out if you haven't read it yet. So yeah, that's all I want to say. Have a good one, everyone. Thanks. Bye.